on page 11, we are dealing with scientific notation still, but we have a negative exponent this time. And anytime you have a negative exponent, you are dealing with a decimal. And these are very small numbers. Negative exponent means a decimal. Now, I forgot to white this out. On my original copy of this, I had used an integer from 2 to 9 there. That is true. You can definitely put them there, but you're not limited to that. So let's change this to say the leader, just like last time. Oops. The leader in any non-zero numbers. And just like last time, we can only manipulate 2 pieces of this information. We can do this number, and we can do this number. But that's it. We can't change the 10. That is built into the problem. So the example I used there, a negative exponent allows us to write very small numbers. And I'm talking like the eyelash on a flea, that tiny, tiny number. Or the diameter of an electron, something incredibly small. The example I used was write 6 times 10 to the minus 5 in standard form. And I walked you through that complicated example. It looks scary, but let me show you. I want to talk you through it. So here's the problem that we're trying to solve. So the first thing you do is write down the leader. But this time, instead of writing, well, we can do it right here. It won't matter. Let's write it down right there. Now, if that's a 6 whole number, the decimal is right there. Think of $6. You don't see the cents, but it's there. The decimal is right after that number. So we're going to take that decimal this time and put it in there so we can see it. Because we need to pick it up and scoop it 5 times to the left. That negative number is saying move left. So here's what I'm going to do, and I literally draw the scoops. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you see how I've drawn 5 scoops. Last time I drew lines, but we were going to the right, so this is a little different. We're going to do 5 of them. And then we're going to put zeros, 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 and here's where your decimal will sit. Because you moved it. It was over here, you scooped it 5, and then I personally like to use a leader 0. You don't have to, but it keeps you from overlooking the decimal. So 6 times 10 to the negative 5th power. Let's count these places. There's tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths. So you would write this in word form as 600,000ths. And just for trivia knowledge here, you could also write it this way. Okay, these 5 zeros are these 5 places and that exponent. It's all tied together. So 600 thousandths. That is an incredibly small number. Okay, let's try the next one. Let's talk through it. The example says to write 1.86 times 10 to the negative 8 in standard form. Okay, so let's go back to the anchor. Let me do it right here. 1.86 times 10 to the minus 8. All right, so let's bring this number down. It already has a decimal in it. I'm going to pick that decimal up, and I'm going to scoop 8 spaces. Which way? Left. Okay, so here's 1 scoop, 2 scoops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'm going to drop the decimal right there. And I need to make sure I did 8. Let's count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to fill in the placeholders with zeros. Okay. You can also put your 0 out front if that helps you. If that confuses you, leave it off. You want to have 8 scoops. So let's read this number. This is a tough one. It's 186. Remember, we're dealing with very small numbers. Okay, so let's count our decimal places. Here's the decimal. So we're going to start with tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths, 100 thousandths, millionth, 10 millionth, 100 millionth, billionth, 10 billionth. So 186 10 billionths. If you wanted to see that as a fraction, it would have the 186 on the top. There's 10,000, 10 million, 10 billion. And if you count your places, one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, wait a minute, 3, 6, 9, 10. Okay, where is the difference coming from? Because we did 8 scoops. I threw myself for a minute. But remember, you also had 2 places there. So 8 plus 2 is 10. There are those 10 zeros in this number. I'm getting way into the weeds. Again, there are no practice test questions with this in it. So you can totally disregard this if you so choose. All right, here is another one. This time I want us to write this number, which is in standard form, in scientific form. Okay, so we have 0.0009. Now I know that scientific form involves 10, and I know we're going to have a negative exponent because we're dealing with a decimal. So what is the non-zero number? It's a 9. So that's going to become my leader. And let me keep it matching up to the anchor. There's the 9. How many places do we have here? We have 4 of them. And that's what's going to come over here. So 9 times 10 to the negative 4. This is 9 tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. 9 10,000ths. Or 9 10,000ths. And I think I have more room for one